not coming today. We got a meeting.
Eric from Java response.
Mm-hmm.
That check can be because he's going to tell me how to her out here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you do your forms, I think if you understand maybe that the basic structure of the technique, then your intent of the movement will be focused more on the structural integrity of the movement plus the direction of your movement. So each one of these techniques have different, application, different strength, but a lot of times it's not defined clearly enough. So, when you do your movements, just let's go to the fourth form, right? Just start from the beginning, and let's see what we're doing with the movements, right? And see this way we get a basic understanding. Okay, ready? So you start off. Salute is pretty standard procedure. So ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, so opening the stance. Why do we open the stance and shift the weight, right? And not just do this. If you don't shift your weight, you don't have stability in the leg work, right? So if he's in a horse stance and I want to open my stance, I want to come into a position of strength. But if I do this, there's no purpose or strength to this. So the structure is in how you shift my weight. So he's in a stance. If I shift, I'm here. I shift my weight, now I'm stable here. And I have this. And my stance opens. And the same applies if I do this. So your legs actually are being trained there as a motion. Because if he throws a punch, I step to here. I want my stance to be strong enough to intercept the mabu. Huh? Eating the stance they call. But when you do that, if you only focus on what you're going to do with this, then you already lost this. The movements, the power comes from the base, right? So the root of the movement starts in the legs or the feet, moves through the legs, through the body, and then in the arms and into the fingertips. So that's true in Tai Chi. It's in Kung Fu as well. So first you have to create the stance. Once you're here, then so that's called chop, thrust. When you thrust, you're practicing thrusting, and thrusting is a direction. There's no lifting, there's no lateral motion, it's just thrusting. So that's the direction. Then you open. So now there is a little bit of lateral motion there, because after you thrust and you open or you turn, that's where the strength goes. So that's changing the intent of the motion. So just doing this becomes part of the action. Now we do a lot of these, but when we do this, if you don't have an action, or if he gets on the other side, on the side, and you don't have this, then this goes to the outside of the movement. So when we do this, and we train till the body has strength in the motion. So there's strength here, there's strength here, then there's strength here, and then there's strength here, and then there's strength here. Strength is changing. If you just go through the motion, then you don't have the structure for that. So that's why, just this alone becomes something. Now you lift up and you press. So here's your bridge. You're pressing down like this. So when he does that, right? So the strength is here. Or if I use this is a bridge, a position. Not necessarily putting a lot of force down, but first thing is that's my interception. If I want to do this, maybe I want to do this. That becomes, the intent is to strike down. This is an arc going this way. If I close my hand, it becomes a pull. So depending on what your action is doing, right? So we're here, right? That's the wrist movement. Thrust, sink. Now you're in a position that's elbow down. Now you don't need any strength pulling in. You're just dropping to create this shape. Then when you turn, we have this configuration. We turn back. Then we have this, sink, and turn. So the important part is the sink, right? And when you sink, is it like this, or is it like this? So this is sinking, so he has strength here. If he has his sinking here, like you're going to use this, then his sinking, even if he's pressing down, the sink is going in this way, because his hand is going this way. But when you're here, the sink is going downward as a position. So that's why when you do a form, not every motion is the same. It's not created equal. So this is here. Then when I turn. Now if I go like this and I turn, you can see that structurally it's not going to be sound, because you can't turn like this. You can turn like this, but it's not effective. If his arms are like this, and then he's turning, yeah. When he's here and he's turning, he has strength. You see, so the difference is one works and the other one's not effective. So that's what you have to understand when you do your forms. Otherwise, it's just running through the motion with no, understanding of what you're doing. So it's not important, in the beginning stages, but as you progress, and we've been spending, years or decades doing this, you have to understand that idea, because Kung Fu is not just a brutal thing that you can beat up people with. It doesn't even work unless you know how to actually hit someone. But the thing is, what are you doing with your motions? Because functionality is what you're trying to understand. It's called the body intelligence. So when we're here, let's try that, right? So we go 1, right? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thrust. Sink. 1, 2. Okay, 3, 4. Thrust. So a lima, right? This. There has to be something there too. Like if he's in a horse stance and I'm here and I want to do this, I have to be able to, that's called lima. I have to be able to move my leg from here to here, but not just like this. You have something here. And then you turn. You see? So that's your leg work. This little, it's a trip. If I'm here, that's that, right? Or this. If I'm here and I turn to leaning stance, that's that. You see? So that's the leg work, the mabu. So we have to understand, when we're doing these movements, it's not just for the sake of going through the motion, right? So then we keep going from there. So see if you have intent in the leg, right? Go. Continue. Okay, so let's just pause for a second. So we're here, right? First thing, there's your leg. Here's your turn. So your turning is to avoid, that's a trap. So the critical part of the trap, just like this is a trap. This is a trap. Well, the only difference is the stance. So when you trap, if I'm here, I intercept. I don't necessarily have to do this. That's excessive. I'm just turning. Just intercept the position. So once you intercept here, then the hand comes here. Cut. So if you're doing this, and you're doing this, that should be okay, right? But are you doing this? What's missing? This hand. Because if I trap like this and I cut, you see how my hands moved? They're open. This one is doing this, this is doing this. If you're doing this, it's one-sided. You didn't connect to the other side. But don't do anything like this. Just open. You have to open your chest. Don't tighten your back. Don't tighten the shoulder blades. Because if you tighten, you just took all the energy out of this. You shouldn't be. It's just cutting hand. Cutting hand. The effectiveness of a cutting hand is this. I'm here. Oh, use this hand. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. So when I'm here, right? 1, 2, and then I'm going to palm. 3. So in a form, that's what we're doing. We're here. 1, 2, 3. So when we're doing cutting hands, you're just doing this, opening, like in the first form. 1, 2. We don't need anything extra here. Just sink the elbow open and draw back. So here, 1, 2, 3. This one, the forward. It's a fist, yeah. Yeah, it's not. This only when you're double. That's in the first form. This, you're here, then it closes. Then you're here, right? Then this comes here. So what's the most critical part of that palm strike? When you do the palm, right? Critical part, midline. elbow position. If you let your elbow come out, then it's like you're throwing a punch like this. When you're here, it has to come from here. See, so here, then it comes here. That's it, close to the body. So you have to drop the elbow. So that's where the power comes from. If your elbow's not here, then it's not going to tie to the legs. When you form the fist, short punch, right? And then the next movement from there comes in. So if you're just doing this, disconnected to the body, right? Form the punch. So where should your sort of conscious intent of that movement go? It should go here. But not here. Here. Because this is what's happening. If I go like this, and my strength is want to go there, then I don't have that. So you have to have this. So what I do, I turn, reset to the shoulder, punch, punch. So those are transitions. Everybody can find this position. Everybody can find this position. But what about this position? That's your transition. This is you're here, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Close. So the transition is what's critical. Just like this becomes a transitional, because this is a horse stance. This is offset. That's the transition. This is horse to leaning. This is the transition. So that's the transitions are the hardest part to get, because it takes more control as a motor skill, and it takes more timing to combine the two. So at this stage, when we're here, if we trap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Right? So there's the movement there. Here's the 2 punches. So it's where you're going with it. If this is going like this, then your hand should be moving with this connected to the body. And then you're going to punch. And this is like challenge. You know the challenge exercise? I go. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And then they open back to, see? So you do 1, 2, 1, 2. So it squares up, because this is the position we have, right? So here. So this is the defensive side of the motion. So let's just do that section on both sides. See if you can capture some of those concepts. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. 1. So you see, movements are, that's front and back, right and left. What happened to middle? What happened to middle? Middle is sinking, right? So that's what, if you're here, where's the sink? The punch. 1, 2. Sink. 1, 2. 1. Sink. Palm. Punch. Here, and then here, and then here. So then you close. So if we got right and left, or right and left, and there's forward and back, then you have to have central equilibrium, the middle point for the movement. So that's your stability, you know, the comfortable position where you feel balanced. So let's go from there. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, sink. Open. 1, 2. Because when we're here, 1, don't tilt. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2. This is your same palm strike. Keep it in. 1. Yeah, complete the palm strike. Don't do palms like this. Because if you're training to finish the movement, we don't have a structure like that. We have structures like this and this. We don't have the partial ones. So because you want to, this is your scoop to here. This is your scoop to here. So you have to get this as a habit, that when you do a palm strike, that it's coming from here. There's a transition when you turn your waist, just like here. The elbows come here. See? So this is what we call the fundamental motion, right? It'll keep on. So when we're here, boom, boom. This is hook, palm, hook, palm. Okay, so where's the dead hand? The secondary hand is dead when you're doing this. Right, no matter how good the palm is, you don't have. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you see this, right? So it's missing that. Yeah. Yeah, fill it out, right? All you're doing is carrying it around to the other side, and you're keeping the consistency of the circle here. So if I just focus on this, you would see that the hand is doing this. So if I'm applying this technique and I'm here, you can see it's doing this. Right? That's the action. If I'm doing this and this is tied to this, then if I get it to here, then this is going to go there. Right? But if you're going like this and then this is going there, this one's not even connected to that. So that's why we have to understand that this movement is the same, just like this movement is tied to this. So that's your right and left synchronization on the secondary hand. Secondary hard to develop because we don't have the mind that's working the two sides, or hasn't been focused on that, so it didn't really pick up on it. So that coordination is a skill that comes over time, but it's back to the body intelligence. But then when we talk about right and left sides working together in unison, it started day one. You'll learn 1, 2, 3, 1. Then it becomes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But we learn it here and it gets pretty good. Then what happens here? 1, 2, right? So back to basics. But it didn't cross-reference what the strategy and the body form should be. So that's the body, imagery and the timing for the movement. Now, in form, we're practicing it like this from side to side so that we can kind of get the timing to get from here to there and finish at the same time. But when you're using it, it's here. It's here. And my hands stop here because it's not necessary to pull back here. So in application, it's like that, or like that. So let's just do those few movements from the hook hand. So here, this 1, 2, don't tilt. 3, 4, drop, turn, drop, turn, drop, turn. Then we're back to center. Same idea. Now when you're doing the center one, when you do the center one, you have to pass through your center. So the hand comes hooking here, comes up, hooks here, comes up, hooks here, comes up. So there's your center line, the midline. It has to hook. So because we're talking about direction, your hooking happens here, right? That's the draping, right? So if Rob were to throw a punch, the hook is here. Then it comes through my center. I don't hook it and then try to do this, because you don't have sinking. You're here, and then I'm here. Because my elbow's coming this way, and it's coming this way. And then the opposite's the same. 1, 2. So that's, yeah. So you have to pass through the point that's, see, and then it comes up. So that's a sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, alternate hand. And it's just practicing a motion. When the hand comes up, so why do it like that? Because if your hands are up and someone throws a punch, you're going to do this, right? That's your technique. But you're going to do this, and then do this, or do this, right? So the hand is this. Now my hand is here. This comes like that. So the idea is just practicing that motion. Because when we practice the movements enough, then it's in your, you're in your subconscious, it's in your body, and then it becomes a technique that you know. Just like we do this. Why do we do this? It's so simple, So when you get to, throughout, the number of years you've been practicing, it's the same old punch, but actually it should have evolved into something that has a different meaning, and that's the control factor, and also sinking the elbow, relax the shoulder, and direction, accuracy, and how that ties to a simple punch. But you have that in the form. You have these movements. So it's just going back there, making the the cross-referencing that the body begins to recognize. But this, right, Fuhak, right? Well, I mean, Muay Kun. Fuhak is just this. That's all it is. Yeah. Okay, keep it going from there. So these are just things that I see that would be probably something that might not be. Okay, let's do the thrust again to the eyes, right? So it's here, right? A little bit like that. Drawback. Yeah. The drawback is just the frame, right? This is your structure. Yeah. So you got to remember, what goes up must come down. What goes in must, and then you have your turning. So if his hand goes like this, and he turns back, right? So movements have forward and back. On the forward movements, thrusting and deflecting. On the backward movement, it becomes the deflection on the backside. So this is a motion for poking, but also if his hand is here and he continues to push, this is drawing, he thrusts toward me, this is the drawback. On the way down, it's just a deflection, because my arm is the contact, the connection. So as I rotate, there's your deflection. Now how far do you deflect it here? The form says to do this. But in deflection, you just have to go like this. Right? You only have to stop there. Because why? Because I'm still connected to him. So I use this opportunity to do this opportunity. You see? Because if I'm here, he goes here, this goes here. You see? So that's, you go up, it comes down, you're still here. The tension goes there, the hand goes here. Because you have the exposure there, it's open there. So we do this, 1, 2, 3. That's all we're doing. But when you're using it, you just modify it to something else you know. So okay, keep going. and then hot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Two, three. So actually, this movement, we look at it as thrust, thrust, thrust. But change the idea of the thrust to a pull. So the intent should be on the pull side. This is there, and then you go like this. So, because you see, here, right? 1, 2, 3. So the idea, when he does it, you do it, right? So once cross, yeah. So this sets up for the press, and that's the withdrawal. You thrust. All right. So each time you alternate. You see? Yeah. So then it becomes a different. The feeling is different, right? Now, because if you just do this, it just seems like that. But when you're like this, then you have, this becomes driving, but this becomes drawing. So you can hear the hand going like this. If you just do this, it's a different, interaction between the two. Because how you're using the strength is, one is the pressing and one is the withdrawal, whereas this is just thrusting. So, yeah. Okay, so go. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. Yeah. So the removal part is the withdrawal, but without something there, then drawing back wouldn't be effective because you don't have counteracting forces. Yeah, okay, keep going. From there, 1, 2, 3, yeah. See, these are all hot kill and chun kill, and those thrusting moves, all the same technique. Okay, deep breathing. So this movement, the 5 stances, right? Make a circle. So this is coming in, this is going out, right? So when you do these movements, this merging in the center, the chun kill, or merging in the center, winghung, kuen has this where it merges in the center. So this circle is important. Don't break the circle. When you're doing the diagonal strike, the tendusu, this is a straight arm. Don't do this. Straight. And then when we're here, there's your double block position. Yeah. So these are basic and fundamentals, but the thing is, sometimes we don't pay attention enough. So that's a little bit too bent right there. Yeah. So go like that. Yeah. See, bent. Yeah. This. No. Keep it straight. You have to keep it straight. Yeah. It's not that you have to put so much strength into the movement. It's the alignment of your skeleton. You know, that's all we're dealing with is our skeleton. If you don't align the skeleton or use the skeletal movement for that specific strike, then that's not the power that you want. If you go like this, it's different from this. Because the line of movement is here. So your strike has to be here. It has to be here. It has to be here. It's the same stroke. It's here. It's here. So, because we move and we turn, shouldn't change your body form. So until your body form has identified that motion, then there's going to be 5 or 10 different strikes. So where's the consistency come from when you have to learn 5 different strikes that look exactly or close to what it is? So, yeah. Right. So even a fist is still this. It doesn't matter. It's this or this or this. That's just the legs are different. So it's your this. So it help even in your swords, right? That's the diagonal strike. So that's, that's why, when we speak, yeah. So then once you get the pattern, you know the direction, you're doing the transition, then you have to use gravity, sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, direct the movement, focus the motion. Sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. If you try to do this, it's not going to work. You have to do this. And then that. So that's sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. Yeah. Is that new? No. Not like that. Why? Because when the hand goes up to here, say his punch is there, right? And my hand is here. Fold, turn, then I can execute this movement. See? So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, there's your strike. See? All right. 1, 2, 3. Right. That's when the other hand is working with it. If it's always just this, then what is this doing? It's doing this. Right. So it's chun hot. This removing, like in the first form. And then you punch, right? But here. 1, 2, 3. Right. That's so you do second form is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with the movements, sort of you're simulating the technique in itself. If you're doing it and you're simulating the motion, then it's easy to apply. But your hands have to be working like this, because if you're doing this, it's just 2 pieces, but there's something missing there. It's this. Just like this when you chun kyo, or you do this. When I do this and I turn to this, I cross the hand just to be centered, but if I do this, then I pass through all of that here, right? See, so the 2 sides have to work to be efficient. Otherwise, I have to rely on this total movement as the full motion. But if I intercept here, then I'm here. You see. So that's just cross hand integration and passing to center. But my center was here when I practiced it. It's here when I finish it. So that's the difference between, just getting from here to there without the drilling and the timing to get to there. And this is in there. So these are all structures that we have to identify and then, know what the purpose of it is. So let's go through first form. See how that's evolved. Just the first leg, right? The first leg. We because you've done this form, well, kind of done this form. Right, ready? Begin. Hup. Pivot, lift, low, chun, scoop, uppercut, remove, punch. So do the uppercut, remove, punch in series of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2, 3, and back. 1, 2, 3, down. Uppercut, sliding step. Down, elbow up. Okay, cross hand, double palm. Remove, punch, step to the back. Elbow, back fist, palm, high block, jump kick, crescent kick, jump kick, trapping hand. Back fist, 1, 2, 3. Sliding step, palm. Scoop, press kick. Dragon, step back. Palm, punch, close. Okay. So just position-wise, all horizontal palms to the waist should be like this. 2 is like this, 1 is like this. It's not lower than that, it's here. All your presses in the kicks, scoop, press should be close. It's not out there. This is reaching. If I'm going to kick him in the groin, he doesn't need to block me out by the knee. He doesn't need. He wants to be blocked there, right? Yeah. Press. 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is close. Where else is that press close? Kungfu. Chopping hand. Yeah, but this is here, defensive, and then punch. Dragon, then you step back from here to here. So, which other one was there? Yeah. Yeah. Because the way you're doing it, you don't have an elbow. Not like this. See? If I chun kill like this, right? I chun kill like this, he punches again. This hand comes here. Right? So I'm here. Before I'm here. So when I'm here, because I'm in a horse stance, I'm going to turn, and then I turn to a palm, and then I uppercut. So the transition is what takes. So all I have here is a hook. So if I'm here, and you say, well, there's no, because this is part of this. It becomes part of this because I'm here. Now I'm here. So by the time you use your elbow, you're like this, right? So I'm like this. If I just do this, obviously there's not anything there because it's not tied to your body. So I have to do this. That's the same thing as this. Just that this comes close. So if I just do this, that's that. Huh? Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's well. I think he's more looking at what that is in the first time. But yeah, if you go like this, then it's like this. Then yeah. 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 Well, it's no movement should be one dimension. It has to be multi-dimensional. So if I chun kyo like this, and he goes another punch, I'm like this, but I had to use some kind of avoidance when he punches to avoid. I'm here, right? I chun kyo, then he punches. I have to avoid and then hook. So part of avoiding is called sembi, right? You're here. Then you can hook it on the way in. See, if I go like this, I'm here. But I had to change my step because you see how it's called one ma, changing the stance in a sense. If I go like this, like in the form, that teaches you the step, but you have to judge the distance. So the effectiveness of the movement, really, I'm just using this to capture. I'm only using this to redirect. Because if I did this, I could do this as well, right? If I'm here, chun kyo, and I could just do this, but I can't do anything until I do this. See? So that's what that hook is. That's sort of the crane. Now when I go like this, I can do this. That becomes something else but I went underneath. See, so that becomes this. Yeah. If I want to use a cutting hand, I could do this. But that's, so a cut and a hook is essentially the same purpose. So every, maneuver that we have is really something that's specific, to the action. Anything else? No. So these are things that are in the first form, but we don't pay attention to first form because we assume all the things are pretty self-explanatory. Uppercut, remove, drunken fist. But the subtleties in motion are really what makes the transition more effective. Like a drunken fist is this, right? I use it like this, right? But in an application, you're not going to put this hand here. Why would you waste that? But you could use this. If I do this, that becomes this. If I go 1, 2, that becomes the reversal of that movement. So you can use both sides. Yeah. And this is a strike, or this is diagonal flying, actually going underneath. So this and this is, so how do you practice that? You're here, here. 1, 2, and you just switch. But you see, it comes through center, cover, split, cover, split. So we understand our movements, then your body starts to see some value in it. Okay, Ubao. My shirt's too wet now. That's okay. I just watched this